Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got even more to talk about today. Everything is happening very, very quickly. A change in the total circulating supply for XRP. And are we watching the narrative be created to be able to put XRP and other massive tokens that actually have their payment networks set up for real use case to be deemed systemically important by the U.S. Treasury? I don't know, but we're going to take a look at it right now. Let's roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen. And everything that we're talking about here, so close to 60,000 followers on Twitter. Make sure you follow me there. A lot of news we cover that doesn't make the show, so you want to make sure you follow us there as well. Okay, lots to talk about here. We see 2.4 trillion plus monies pouring into the crypto space. We are up more than 100 million, I think, at this point, just from this morning's numbers. And looking here, Bitcoin's still sitting at 57,000 plus, Ethereum on a tear at 3,800 plus, coming down to XRP at $1.63. It's off by 3.64 point. Let's just call it 4%. It's off by 4% on the 24-hour and up 1.7 on the 7-day. But here's what we want to talk about is right over here. Yeah. We're going to get into this. We're going to do a little bit of news, and we're going to get into this. Today it says 35 billion plus. Well, we're going to talk about it because that isn't what it was yesterday, okay? We're going to take a look at that too. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's get started. Right now, the range here is at $1.62, or we're at price point 162, up from the 150 range this morning. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, see if we keep moving. We're ranging between $1.51 and $1.70 right now. It's very important for us to stay above the 164, 167 range to get to that next level and ultimately a new all-time high, as the experts have told us. So watch for that in the coming days, or today maybe, we don't know. All right, Coinbase to close down San Francisco headquarters in remote first policy. It says this means employees will continue to work from home. It is important to note that Binance has taken a similar approach by shutting down its Shanghai head office. You know, it's one of the things that we're going to have takeaways from the pandemic, right? Some things were very negative impact, on everyone and businesses and people. And then some things were like, hey, why weren't we doing this before? And those are the things that are really going to change going forward, because that's what I see happening here. Now, this is Squawk Box, and we are about to hear from Gary Gensler directly. And I think there's no better way to hear it than from the horse's mouth. Listen to what he says here when he talks about freshening up the rules at the SEC, when he's asked about Elon Musk pumping things like Dogecoin. Let me just play the clip here. Here we go.
How do you think of the role of social media? I mean, this goes back to GameStop, but also you're seeing it in crypto. Elon Musk is going to be on SNL this weekend. We've watched Dogecoin nearly double over the week as people speculate that he's going to do a segment or a skit around that. He's been on Twitter talking about these things. What do you think of the celebrities taking to Twitter? We're looking at a tweet right now. Let's find out how live Saturday Night Live really is. And literally just on the backs of these kinds of communications, you're seeing stocks move. You're seeing crypto move. When you think about investor protection, what do you do about that, if anything?
So, before he gets started, this is the narrative, and it was started by Wall Street Bets and GameStop, and it's been the narrative. And if you haven't seen the video from this morning, everything runs on the XRP ledger. Please go watch that video, because I believe this is the overall narrative they're going to use, that the retail investor has colluded together on social media platforms to manipulate markets. They didn't have a problem for the last several decades when the greediest people on earth were doing it. But when you and I start to get together and use the same practices, essentially, that the greediest people on earth that have been controlling all the money are starting to do that, and we're now starting to do that, well, that's a threat now. That's a threat, and it's all our fault. That's the problem. It's not the greediest people in Wall Street's fault. Is this on? They're blaming it on us. Well, you know what? I don't give a damn. I'm stacking my pennies next to their dollars. Let them go ahead and do it because I'm invested in the same things they are. Not financial advice. Let's keep listening.
So I think that we've lived every decade. We get new technologies. There were debates 100 years ago whether to allow a telephone on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And here we're in the 2020s. We need to update and freshen our rules to ensure that while retail investors and any individual has First Amendment rights to speak and so forth, that they're not misleading the public, they're not manipulating the public, manipulating the markets. In the securities field, we have a lot of authorities to do that. In a number of these crypto fields, not so clear if it's Bitcoin, for instance, which has been deemed not to be a security. But I do think that we're going to be freshening up our rules and really hearing from the public. I think that the community and the social media is good, but let's recognize also that now computers can train on that social media, do something which is called sentiment analysis. This is computers watching our words. In fact, this interview right now probably is being interpreted in sentiment analysis, meaning a computer somewhere is taking Anders and my words and saying, what does it mean for the markets? Now, the stock market's not yet open, but what does it mean for the markets?
Well, first, one of the things he said in there is that Bitcoin been deemed not a security. Well, I don't think so. There's been no official ruling by the SEC. There's been no official ruling. That was something William Hinman had said at his time at the SEC at a conference. It was not an official release. There is no official document. And to be perfectly honest with you, whether you like this or not, if you're holding Bitcoin and your expectation is that it will grow in price due to the fact that the miners will continue to mine Bitcoin and process the transactions, trying to make it work as efficiently as possible, that is an expectation of profits off of others. Come on in. So here we go. Let's keep this moving because it gets even more interesting. The narrative continues. Shout out to Steve Gulbranson and Joni. They are wonderful people. If you're not following them, I would. It says here, can someone say XRP 3 to 5 second settlement? This highlights what we covered this morning, but I need to talk about it again because it's extremely important. They're talking about the GameStop issue and retail investors, and they're making the point that we need to get settlement cycle to be reduced to basically zero or near as zero as we can because of the manipulation that is possible in the current framework. Now, they can talk about the regulations, and what we heard here was changing of regulations from Gary Gensler to address problems like with someone like Elon Musk, who is a person of note and obviously major influence. And he's talking about something like cryptocurrencies and not stocks, which would be a different approach from Elon, I can assure you, because of the regulatory standards that are there. And because this has not quite got that definition in this space, he's pretty much out there dancing on the thin ice. However, what I would say is that what they are talking on one side is about regulations to be in place to calm that so people could still have their First Amendment rights, supposedly, and still be able to know that their consumer investment protection is in place from the market maker or market regulators, right? However, when they talk about the real issue is standard settlement cycle and the cost to and reducing those costs and risk in our markets, which really means an update of the technology. Regulation isn't going to necessarily fix what they're pointing at here. They're talking about system-wide risks. System-wide risks. Well, the only way to fix that is to update the technology. And I feel like the only way to do that is to really use the same thing that central banks are using, which will be the XRP ledger for open source technology in order to settle all trades. And this way you can get near instant settlement time and off to the races we go. Nevertheless, This is Gary Gensler coming out and doing what he needs to do. And a lot of people aren't going to be happy about it, but I think we got major changes coming, and it may be coming to much more than just the crypto space. I believe that we're going to see a change in how we see stocks and bonds settled ultimately over time. And obviously I'm speculating, but I'm putting my money on XRP. You can put yours wherever you want. Now, looking right here, we see this from yesterday or 2 days ago from Gold Telegraph. And I said, well, looky here. Looks like it's time. The narrative about the settlement system and the getting down to near zero is not possible by the current framework that the stock markets are using right now. That's why there's so much high frequency trading, bot trading, and all the things that are going on that have totally manipulated the market. But yet, they want to blame the retail investor because they've gotten together on social media to invest in GameStop. That's the narrative. But here we see the real issue that's a catalyst here, and the Treasury Department says it will employ measures to avoid unprecedented default on the national debt this summer. This summer. Now, I'm going to go back into that article again because I already covered it. And you can go back, watch the video from May 5th or May 6th and see what the answer is there. But the real deal is they have to come up with a solution to deal with the debt. They have to come up with a solution to make a more green, a more safer consumer protection settlement for the entire stock, bonds, derivatives market as well. I see a narrative being created here, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I'm out there a little early, but that's okay. I was a little early in XRP too. This is a reminder here that the Treasury is the focus. And listen to here.
To be frank, I know a lot of major hedge fund guys that are in this deep. They're worried about regulation, and they keep hearing that it's not necessarily going to start with the SEC, but it's going to start with Treasury. And as a matter of fact, when we asked...
It's not going to start with the SEC. He says it's going to start with Treasury. And they asked the presidential administration where to go on the matter. Listen here.
Jen Psaki, the President Biden's press secretary, about crypto regulation, he pointed us to the Treasury Department. So clearly something is happening from Treasury. Is that your understanding, that it's Treasury that's going to give you guys the rules of the road going forward?
She can't speak to it, and we know that she can't speak to it, and I don't blame her for not. Obviously, she's obviously bound. There's a whole bunch going on with the SEC and the Ripple lawsuit and all of this business. But the Treasury makes sense, because we've got pretty much what's becoming a long list of people from the United States Treasury that end up going to Ripple. Michael S. Barr was one who's no longer there, but was also cited to be the next OCC head after Brian Brooks. Obviously, that confirmation didn't take place, but nevertheless, that's the level of people that work at Ripple. Right? Susan Friedman used to be at the Treasury. Craig Phillips used to be at the Treasury. And Rosa Rios right here is now the 43rd treasurer, and she has left the Treasury, a career lifetime job, to come to Ripple. This is why I've been saying for a couple years now, if not longer, that the U.S. Treasury may come in and use the Dodd-Frank Act and the ability to deem something systemically important, like the protocol of the XRP ledger, or maybe RippleNet, or maybe just the use of XRP. We don't know. I am speculating here for sure. But you see, the narrative is not speculation. They're creating something has to be done. The system doesn't settle as fast as we need it to eliminate market manipulation by who? Not the greediest people in the world. No, not the Goldman Sachses. By us. We're the problem. How dare they? You know, when I look at this and I say, well, how far out on a limb am I here? Well, who has been given the systemically important status under the Dodd-Frank Act? Well, here's a list. The Clearinghouse Payment Company. Well, I just went over in this morning's video how the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation is working with the potential use of distributed ledger technology. That is interesting. The DTCC settles $1.6 quadrillion a year in bonds and derivatives and stocks. CLS Bank International, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Depository Trust Company, right? It's all right here. All of these things are already deemed systemically important. I don't think it's a stretch by any imagination here to think that if they were to use something like a private ledger off of the XRP ledger open source technology, as the central banks have done already, then I don't think it's a real leap to think that they will build a private or have already built a private ledger on top of that XRP ledger open source technology for the derivatives market to be settled. Now, here's something that's a little interesting before we get out of here. This came to me first from Hiding Out Now. Shout out to you, my friend. And here it is also on Twitter from Rob XRP, and many others have said it already too. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. XRP circulating supply has dropped, and it's confirmed from CoinMarketCap and Coinbase. Anyone know what happened? 10 billion XRP are missing. Let me prove it to you. This is yesterday morning's video. I do the numbers every morning, and thank goodness I do, because the circulating supply was 45 billion plus. You know what it is right now? 35 billion plus. Where in the world is the 10 billion XRP? Where's it at? I don't know the answer. Treasury got it? Treasury planning on using it? I don't know the answer. I don't think this is a bad guess, though. And when I look right here, this is the XRP rich list. Well, this makes for even better a question. When I do the tally here, and believe me, I use the calculator, from 1 million XRP in wallets on the XRP rich list, the richest wallets from 1 million all the way up to more than 1 billion adds up to this number: 43,769,221,318 XRP. So somewhere we've lost 10 billion XRP in the market cap, or in the total circulating supply, but yet the top wallets have more XRP in them than actually showing in the circulating supply. You riddle me that, and damn, we won't have something. I tell you what, I don't know what's going on. Maybe a settlement in the works with the SEC. We do know that they brought in 2 lawyers, for which at least one specializes in negotiations and settlement. We do know that the SEC Sunshine Act is happening today. It was delayed from yesterday, where they will discuss what cases are on the docket for the SEC and whether or not they should continue litigation or move to settlement. I don't know what's going on here, but by the prickings in my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. I'm going to hold on and find out. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with somebody you know. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. By the way, cryptotaxaudit.com. I'm going to say it again. cryptotaxaudit.com. Clinton Donnelly is the foremost authority in crypto taxes. Don't mess around. Go sign up and make sure you got protection on your side. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.